Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Last time we set up the creme brulee and today we're going to do the brulee part, the torching of the creme brulee. Because creme brulee means burnt cream. So what you have here is the ramekins that we set up last time. And I baked them. They baked about maybe 40 minutes in that water bath until, like I said, they were like wiggly jiggly. And then they go in the fridge. Take them out of the water bath right away so they don't keep cooking. Be careful, everything's hot. Make sure you use your hot pads and don't let them get wet. And then put them in the fridge, and then your creme brulee is going to set up. Notice it's not cracked, it doesn't have bubbles on the top, it's not colored. That's how you want it. You want it to bake really nice like that. Alright, now we're going to set up for the brulee part. But before I do that, I want to talk about the torch. You're going to have to use a torch. Obviously, if you want to use a torch, make sure you have an adult by or adult supervision with it because it is an open flame. This is a kitchen torch. It uses these little butane cylinders and it's made for creme brulees and other kitchen stuff. It has a little chef's hat on it, so we know it's for the kitchen. You can use some other torches, but definitely check with an adult before you try and do anything with the torch on the creme brulee. With a torch like this, they have a knob for the gas and they have a knob for the air mixture. Usually the air mixture is to the left, but torches are different. Turn on, make sure you have no combustibles around you. This isn't pointing at anyone. Turn on your gas a little bit and then ignite it. Now all the way to the left for me is on super high and then all the way over here is low. I'm going to use somewhere in the middle. I don't want this, but I don't want a tiny little flame either. I want something like that. And then this is that air mixture I talked about. If you do it that way, it's not mixing right. If you do it that way, it makes the flame. The other thing with a torch like this, you never turn them upside down. You always run them just like this. So now that we understand the torch, let's set up the creme brulee. If the creme brulee was in the fridge for a while and it got wet, you could take a paper towel and get the moisture off. But these look pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is spoonful of sugar in the center. You could pour it on too. And move it all the way around and then pour it out. And that gives you a nice coating of sugar. And then just kind of sprinkle just a little bit more on top. Okay, just a nice little sprinkling of sugar is all you need. And then what I like to do is make sure you wipe the edges of the ramekin so that they don't burn on you. And make sure all your flammables are out of the way. I use my little turntable because it's metal. And I'm going to turn on the torch. And then again, I don't need little flame. I want somewhere in here. And then I just want to use the tip. And I start by going, notice how the tip's kind of right into the sugar. I start by going around the edges. Okay, and I want to start to get the sugar melting. And again, we're caramelizing. We don't want to burn it because then it gets bitter. Okay, so once it starts to look a little on the brown side, then start bringing it into the center. Okay, and trying to get, this is looking good. And get that beautiful caramel color, and then you can stop. And that's what you're looking for. That beautiful caramelized color. I'll do another one for you. And then pretty much these desserts are a dessert that's made right for service. You want to, because what's going to happen is that sugar is going to break down. So you want to do these right away. And then just a little on the top there. And then again, I like to wipe the edges so you don't get that burn look on it. There we go. And then torch. And it's just kind of work the edge so it starts to brown a little bit. I'm moving the torch around. You can't move it around too much, but you don't want it in one spot. And then once you start to get it looking good, then you start working on the center and bring everything together to get that nice deep golden color. But you don't want it to turn into a black. The other trick I can tell you is when you're doing these, don't put the sugar on too early. A lot of times I know like in class, people would want to put all the sugar on and then they would want to torch. And the problem is the sugar will dissolve into the wetness of the creme brulee, and then you don't have any sugar. And then when you go to torch it, it wants to like just burn. And then you can decorate these however you want. Some people like to just serve them right like that, but if you want to put some fruit on there. And do like a strawberry and a raspberry and a blueberry. Or maybe you just want to do a couple raspberries. Whatever it is that you want to do, just kind of have some fun with it. And the fruit's just a nice little touch. And what makes this dessert, honestly, is the textures. When you go into it with the spoon, the caramelized sugar is hard. It's like a hard crust of sugar. And then it goes into the really smooth and velvety creme brulee. And the creme brulee gets smooth and velvety because it's baked in the oven and it's baked in that water bath. So, thank you for baking with me today. I hope to see you back here again in Mr. Polk's kitchen.